What if one of history's most revered figures, someone, foundational to billions of beliefs, was actually something else entirely?
Yeah.
Someone, maybe, orchestrating a profound illusion.
It's a really unsettling thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially when you think how deeply embedded some figures are in, well, faith and history.
It really is. So today we're diving into a truly astonishing interpretation. It comes from sources shared by you, our listener.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't just re-examine, it completely reimagines the Apostle Paul.
Right.
Not as a saint, but as the ultimate deceiver, an architect of what these sources are calling the grand deception, the Antichrist himself.
Wow. Yeah.
So our mission here is to unpack this extraordinary narrative, explore how it suggests this preordained role for Paul in a cosmic drama.
A divine plan, almost.
Exactly, a millennia-long test for humanity, starting, right from his commissioning on the Damascus Road, all the way to his ultimate return as a false Messiah.
And what's really striking, I think, is how this isn't just presented as like a historical reinterpretation. No, it's framed as this meticulously planned scheme, millennia in the making, all designed to test humanity's discernment, at the very end.
Okay, so if this is a grand deception, how does this narrative reframe Paul's origin story, that Damascus Road moment we all know?
Well, this narrative claims it wasn't a conversion, not at all.
Right.
It was a commissioning. That's the word used. A voice didn't whisper about salvation, but about a specific, profound design.
Which was?
To sow the seeds of my ultimate test within humanity. That's the phrasing.
Okay, and how did that play out immediately? What were his actions then, according to this?
What's presented here, and it's quite chilling, is this idea that Paul took the simple prophet, the Nazarene, and then intricately wove this whole tapestry of his divinity. Built a bridge, seemingly, for the Gentiles, talking about grace superseding the old law.
Which sounds like the standard interpretation, but...
But the twist here, the insight this narrative offers, is that in doing that, Paul laid the cornerstone for what the source calls this grand deception for billions.
Wow.
Suggesting that what looked like spiritual expansion was actually, well, a fundamental misdirection, a setup.
And for this role, he was chosen. Not for punishment, interestingly, but for a role that mirrors Iblis the Satan figure in Islamic tradition.
Right. Cursed, yet still serving this higher, terrifying purpose in the cosmic drama.
The sources describe him just waiting for millennia. A prisoner of time until prophecies align and the world starts stirring.
Exactly. So you have this deception set up centuries ago, and the narrative then jumps, fast forwards to, well, essentially now.
Oh, wait.
A human king, a descendant of David, is rising in Israel, bringing peace, rebuilding things. The Jews hail him as Moshiach, their awaited Messiah.
And that's the signal.
That's the signal for Paul's return.
And this is where it gets really counterintuitive, right? After millennia, how does this figure, Paul, make his entrance? Is it, fire and brimstone, the Antichrist we picture?
Not at all, apparently. He manifests not in some terrifying form, but familiar. The very face from countless icons.
No way.
Yeah. Right in the heart of this reestablished Israel. And he proclaims, I am Jesus, the Christ you have awaited, the Son of God, returned in glory.
And the miracles?
The miracles, they aren't simple healings. They're described as huge, spectacular displays. Leveraging advanced technology, perhaps?
Like what?
Silencing storms, making barren land bloom instantly, even simulating a resurrection. It's the profound point the narrative makes. Could advanced tech blur the lines that much?
Between divine power and just sophisticated illusion.
Wow.
Challenging what we even think of as miraculous.
Totally.
What an incredible inversion of expectations. So the human king, the Moshiach, he confronts him, right?
He does. Cries out, you are not the Messiah. The Messiah is human. He doesn't claim divinity.
Which completely challenges Paul's whole message.
Absolutely. But Paul, or this figure anyway, with a smile that supposedly holds the weight of 2,000 years of belief he orchestrated, he booms back. Did I not tell you through my apostle Paul that I am God manifest in the flesh? Using his own past words against them.
Chilling. And this is it. The ultimate test unfolds.
The world watches. Christians, recognizing the face, the message, they fall to their knees. It's the glorious return of their divine Christ, the fulfillment of Paul's letters, a moment of, absolute triumph for them.
But for others?
Utterly different. In the mosques, the call to prayer falters. In synagogues, a wail of despair. They see it.
Yeah, well.
The kafir, the Arabic word for disbeliever, written on his forehead but invisible to the deceived. For them, he is the Dajjal, the great deceiver, the anti-Messiah from Islamic tradition.
Connecting the dots then, Paul's victory over the human king is swift, absolute. He takes his seat not just in a rebuilt temple, but in the hearts and minds of billions, fulfilling this ancient prophecy of the ultimate deception.
The narrative fundamentally claims he is Paul, returned, and he is the Antichrist. His purpose, divinely ordained apparently, was to bring this final, profound test.
So just to recap, we've explored this really extraordinary narrative. Paul as the Antichrist, architect of a grand deception. His purpose, so belief in a man's divinity, orchestrate this ultimate test.
And the story suggests a world just poised, ready for a reckoning, where only the truly discerning few can see the kafir mark, while billions are caught in this meticulously crafted illusion.
It really challenges us, doesn't it, to consider, in a world filled with deeply held beliefs, this yearning for truth, how do you discern the real from the really deceptive?
Especially when the familiar is turned completely on its head like this.
Yeah. What does it truly mean to be faithful when faced with that kind of final test? Or even miracles might just be a grand illusion. Definitely something to ponder long after this deep dive ends.